Hey everyone, my name is Dennis Blaze. I was around 17 when this happened, and to give you an idea of how long ago this took place, I'm now 43 years old. I grew up in a small town across from Seattle during the late 90s. At that time, the town had a population of around 6,000 to 7,000 people, and there wasn't much to do. One night, I was hanging out with my three friends, who I'll call Gary, Mark, and Rob. We all got bored of just sitting around at home, so we decided to go for a drive. We stopped at, we had been driving for about 15 minutes after we left the restaurant. It must have been about 10 p.m. at this point. My vehicle was a 92 Ford Probe. Mark rolled down his window. I didn't think anything of it at first. I just figured he needed some air. We were descending a large hill when I saw a pair of headlights in the distance. The lights got closer, and I saw that it was a semi-truck, but it wasn't hauling a trailer behind it. As the semi-truck was approaching, I could see Mark sitting forward. I wasn't sure what he was doing. I then saw him throw something at the truck as it passed. "What the hell are you doing?" "Relax, it was just a sweet and sour packet from the Nuggets." I was annoyed, but I didn't think anything would happen. We got to the bottom of the hill. When I looked into the rearview mirror, I could now see the headlights from the semi-truck barreling down the hill, rushing directly up my car. Holy shit. Everyone in the car turned around at once. I think he just pissed him off, Mark." I quickly found a driveway to turn around, then raced back up the hill as fast as I could to gain some distance from the semi-truck. When I got to the top of the hill, I turned off all my lights, and everyone in the car told me to turn down this side road that was pitch dark. I could barely see a thing, but I decided to go for it. I then turned the car back around before putting it in park. We thought it would be a good idea to wait for a few minutes before heading back to my house. We waited for about 2 minutes when we saw those damn headlights coming in our direction. I couldn't believe it. The truck driver must have seen us turn down this road. I thought for sure we had lost him. The massive truck seemingly blocked our only way out. It came to a full stop. We then heard the driver's side door opening. Soon the driver was illuminated by his own headlights. This man looked huge. "What the hell should we do, Mark? You're the one who got us into this shit. What do you think we should do? Let's get the fuck out of here." "I don't think I have enough room to get around him." "No, that's not true. On the left, there's a clearing. He is not hauling a trailer, so if you floor it now, you should have just enough room to get around him." I decided to trust Mark and stepped on the gas pedal. I narrowly missed hitting the man. I remember him angrily shouting at us as we zoomed past. We clearly fucked with the wrong guy. Who knows what he would have done if he got his hands on any one of us. Mark turned out to be correct. I had just enough room to make it out of there, and I floored it all the way back home. My parents were at the casino that night, and they weren't going to be home for at least a few more hours. We locked all the doors and closed the curtains, checking every couple of minutes for any headlights. When we were convinced that we were no longer in danger, we all had a good laugh about the whole situation. It was crazy. I told Mark he's no longer allowed to eat chicken nuggets again. I'm glad we all made it out of there safely. But I'll never forget the fear I felt when I was staring down those headlights on that dark road. This happened when I was in 7th grade. For context, I was with a group of friends whose names are Grace, Wes, Greg, Alex, and Gade. It was a sunny Friday afternoon. Our band teacher gave us a free day to do whatever we wanted, so we decided to hang out on the steps that lead up to the music room. At the time, the local high school was having a field day at our school. This was a regular thing. As we were talking, we saw some of the high school students start walking into the gym. Among them was one kid who was wearing all black. As he walked past us, he flipped us off. "What's your problem? Did Agent Smith ghost you today?" We all laughed and gave him the bird. We then noticed a tiny bag of white powder by the guy's feet. He just kept walking and disappeared into the gym. Now, there have been multiple instances where students have been busted with drugs. Our group stays away from them. But at the same time, we were curious as to what exactly was in the bag. At least I was. So I stepped a bit closer, and my friend Grace pulled me away. "Kaylee, just stay away from it. Who knows what the hell that is? We should just go tell the band teacher." "Would you relax, Grace? I wasn't going to touch it. I just wanted to look at it." "But you're probably right." We then looked at the guys, and they proceeded to do what Grace and I decided not to do. Uh, those idiots. They might get in trouble over this too now. We were about to go inside, but were stopped when my friend Alex began freaking out and acting weird. He started violently coughing and sneezing. A few seconds later, he stops and begins to act like nothing happened. This entire situation was bizarre. Let's recount what has happened so far. We get flipped off by Darth Edgelord, who drops a baggie of white powder. My friend Grace stops me from examining the bag. My friend Alex picks it up and apparently inhales it, which causes him to have a violent reaction, but then tries to play it off. That's where we're at so far. Alex then began to smile and walked right past us, heading inside. Before we left, we told the band teacher what happened. He said that he would inform the front office, and then told us to keep this under wraps, because around here, rumors spread fast. After that, we left the music room and continued on with our day. Now, I only had that one class with Alex, so I didn't really know what else he did until later. Gabe told me that Alex had a creepy smile on his face for the remainder of that day. It reminds me of that old story about the smiling man. It was so noticeable that the teachers became uncomfortable and kept asking him if he was all right. The smile he had looked like a normal, genuine smile, but was severely out of place. Let's be honest, there is very little reason to smile like that in a classroom of a middle school. Gabe told me that Alex made everyone in the room feel uneasy, like that sinking feeling you get when something terrible is about to happen. Later on, when school let out, I saw Greg, Gabe, and Alex stand at the bus line. I went up to them. At this time, I was unaware of Alex's strange behavior. I was chatting with Gabe and Greg. I look over and see Alex standing perfectly still, looking directly at the sun, not listening or paying attention to us at all. You know, you'll damage your eyes like that. None of us have ever seen Alex act like that. Gabe chimed in. "Hey, are you okay, Alex? Ever since you took a whiff of whatever was in that baggie, haven't been acting like yourself. We told the band teacher about the bag. What did you guys do with it after we left?" Come to think of it, I don't know. We all just kind of left after that." "Alex, do you still have it?" Alex ignored Gabe's question and continued staring at the sun. I tried my best to get his attention by saying his name over and over again. "Alex. Earth to Alex." "Dude, what the hell is wrong with you? You aren't yourself right now. You're looking directly at the sun like it's playing a porno or something." Alex didn't respond to anyone. He then slowly averted his eyes to us, looking at us with his wide, unblinking eyes, then smiled. It looked like something from a horror film. He then turned in the direction of his bus and began walking, and soon disappeared. leaving the three of us dumbfounded. Well, that was fucking strange. I hope he's alright. We all said our goodbyes and headed home for the weekend. On the following Monday, I was working on an assignment when I happened to glance out the window for a second. I saw the police and a canine unit in front of the school's building. I was staring at the scene for a few minutes. So was everyone else. That's when I heard the intercom. Attention. Will Kaylee, Grace, Wes, Greg, Alex, and Gabe please report to the cafeteria immediately? And as for the rest of you, get off your phones. You're here to learn. Most of you can't read half of the stuff we scroll past anyway. It's time to turn the phones off and put the thinking cap on. Oh yeah, I'm proud of that one. Shit, this thing is still on. I had completely forgot about the incident that happened on Friday, until I was literally heading toward the cafeteria. The first person I saw was the band teacher. He was standing right next to the principal. There were some other staff members and a police officer present as well. The band teacher looked pissed, which was odd. He was usually a pretty chill guy, who never got mad at anyone. When I saw that angry look on his face, it shocked me. I then walked over and sat next to Grace, and we waited for the rest of our friends to file in. Alex was among them, and he had returned to his normal self. When everyone got there and sat down, all the adults in the room just stared at us. I felt like we were about to face a firing squad. The principal finally spoke up. It has come to our attention that you kids found a strange substance on school grounds near the gymnasium. Is that correct? We all looked at her and nodded. I see. Well, in that case, I'd like to know what happened from your point of view. One by one, we were taken into a separate room and questioned. We all told her the same story. After she was done with her interrogation, she then thanked us for the information and then left with everyone else, except for the band teacher. All of us looked at each other in confusion, not knowing if we were allowed to head back to class or not. The band teacher then spoke up in a very angry tone. One of you didn't listen to me and proceeded to talk about this with the other students, and I want to know who. All of us were taken aback. We had never seen him angry before. I know that I wasn't lying, but it's possible that somebody else was. It's also possible that somebody outside of our group overheard us talking about this and began spreading rumors to other students. So as you probably already guessed, Alex was acting strange that day because he had inhaled the substance when he opened the bag, and he was basically smiling like a weirdo and tripping for the rest of that day. To this day, none of us know what it was, but we are certain that kid who was wearing all black was involved. I still don't know if he accidentally dropped it or left it behind on purpose. Alex claimed he left the bag on the ground after his coughing fit. As far as I'm aware, the police never recovered it. Last year I spent Christmas at my father-in-law's place. He lives in South Jersey, in a pretty remote area just north of Bryan State Forest. It is peaceful and quiet out there, but has always been a bit eerie for me. But I felt especially weird with the overcast weather and unseasonable warmth we were having. We did Christmas dinner at my brother-in-law's and got back pretty late. Because of the heat, we slept with the bedroom window open. I woke up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, and as I was drifting back to sleep, I heard a loud wail, building in volume for a few seconds, before stopping abruptly. I figured it was just an odd-sounding bird, and tried to go back to sleep. But it happened twice more over the course of 5 minutes. I basically tried to put it out of my mind and go back to sleep when I heard a loud, shrill blast, like an elephant's trumpet. At that point, I shot up. My heart was racing. I knew I had to close the window, but it took a few seconds for me to build up to it. I dragged myself out of bed and peeked through the shutters before I reached to shut the window. Whatever was out there had tripped the motion sensor of light at the back of the property and was half illuminated. Standing maybe 100 feet from the back door, right at the tree line, was a cloaked figure with its head partially uncovered. The bottom of its face had a flat appearance, like the back of a dinner plate, with another smaller black circle at its center. I immediately slammed the window shut and didn't move. The figure just stood there, with his face tilted toward the window. I shut the blinds and crept back into bed, and basically hid until the sun came up. I didn't hear any more sounds after I closed the window. I only dared another look after dawn, but the figure was gone by then. I then managed to drift back to sleep for a few more hours. I've done some research, but I couldn't come up with anything. Has anyone ever seen anything like this, or know what it might be? When dawn finally broke, I dared to look again, but the figure had vanished. Exhausted, I managed to drift back to sleep for a few more hours. Since then, I've tried researching, but I haven't found anything that explains what I saw. Has anyone else ever seen something like this? Or know what it could be? Remember, there's always a reason to be afraid. The video ends here. What do you think of this story? Don't hesitate to share your theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. This is Midnight Shadows, signing off for now. Goodbye, and see you next time.